Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight. The Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, arrests 2 Zambians for trafficking in cocaine. Energy expert challenges ZESCO to state its position on the Smart House application. UPND National Youth Chairman GILBERT LISWANISO wants solutions to mental health challenges. In international news, UK's King Charles III and CAMILLA crowned in coronation ceremony. And in sports news, Power Dynamos are the Super League champions.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Hello again, the news in detail. Residents of Lusaka's Kamala South at a place locally known as DYNAMOS have called on the Lusaka City Council, LCC, to move in and close down an illegal dump site within the community, which they say is ever expanding. One of the residents, Emelda Chipili, says the dumping site was created by some residents trying to evade waste collection levies, adding that it contributes to flooding during the rainy season as the waste blocks water drainages. Meanwhile, Kamala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says the dumping site was formed under the former Patriotic Front Party and that an office was also constructed at the site where payments from waste scavengers were being made to continue operating from there. The area councillor has since assured that the dump site will be closed down. More in this report.
This is an office at an illegal dumping site in Lusaka's Kamala South area, but this office does not belong to the Lusaka City Council. According to Kamala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata, this office, which was set up during the former ruling Patriotic Front, was used for illegal payments from those using the dumping site for various activities like scavenging items for recycle. This is also one of the many illegal dumping sites that have been created in communities by unscrupulous residents trying to avoid waste collection levies, exposing other community members to a potential risk of various diseases.
There's a garbage issue again. This side they've been dumping for years and years, and it's now full. I don't know, because the cholera issue, you know, it's coming. It's every year cholera issue, and we're even lucky that this area no one has a case of cholera, but cholera just on the corridor, because the diapers, the dogs which they've died, they throw them there. Yeah, and it's even full. So I don't know how they can assist. And this is the Muslim. Even if they can put a wire fence just to cover this place, I think will be safe.
Kapena ndiye amatenga andrama zamene vantu vakabwera batayapo ndiye vamene vakozinga na problem va garbage kuti manzi akangiwe koenda cause pamene garbage sienze kuno penze chechi mugodi ndiye mwenzo nkala manzi so manje chimugodi chija chidamu bambotaya mukuti chizule bagurisepo maplot so banagurisapo maplot bamangapo manje manzi pamene amankala pa chidamu yalibe koenda ndiye pe anankala kala kungena manje mu manyumba monse.
Kamala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says the only solution to the indiscriminate dumping of waste here is to find someone willing to develop the land.
That place is actually not a dumping site. It's not supposed to be a dumping site. So the solution is to find a developer who can take over the place and perhaps do some other construction there so that we close off that dumping site. So the proposal is there to close it. But to do that, it means there has to be a developer interested in the area or in the land. develop it. So we are still looking into that solution.
He has also warned those found dumping waste of penalties. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Drug Enforcement Commission, DEC, in Lusaka has arrested 2 Zambian nationals for drug trafficking. DEC Public Relations Officer Hussein Khan says the commission has jointly charged and arrested a 43-year-old Masao Sombao and a 23-year-old Sunday Simuntala, both of Kitwe Township, for trafficking in 3.2 kilograms of cocaine, a narcotic drug contrary to the laws of Zambia. Mr. Khan says the duo were apprehended in a special operation conducted at Lusaka's downtown shopping mall. He says the 2 are detained in lawful custody and will appear in court soon. Energy expert Dr. Johnston Chikwanda has called on the power utility company ZESCO to expedite the process of rolling out the Smart House application, which allows customers to have control over the usage of power without being present at their homes. In an interview, Dr. Chikwanda has wondered why ZESCO has remained silent after having announced last year that engineers at ZESCO had developed the smart application and that it will be rolled out in homes in due time. He says rolling out the smart application will contribute to the saving of energy, as people will have control over the use of electricity remotely without being at home. More in this report.
A couple of years ago, ZESCO informed the nation that they had signed up to technology that was going to allow the utility company itself to be able to switch off certain appliances. Based on the same technology, the consumer themselves, they are able also to control and switch on or off the equipment or the appliances which they need or which they do not need. Meaning that from wherever you are, you must be able to switch on electricity at home, you must be able to switch off electricity at home without physically being available. That is the smart meter integration to your cell phone most likely. And I saw, I think last year that ZESCO talked about this thing. So as we are modernizing as part of the reforms, I would like to encourage ZESCO to accelerate the deployment of that technology into the market so that people can be empowered, to be able to manage the electricity more efficiently. With regard to the migration to other forms of energy, I remember a few years ago, the country was being pushed to migrate from filament bulbs to energy-saving bulbs. The migration was taking very long and was moving at a slow pace. The government moved in and passed a law which outlawed the importation or manufacturing of filament bulbs in the country, and that forced migration to energy-saving bulbs, and now we are saving more than 300 megawatts.
The Zambia Road Safety Trust has called for an indawa with all stakeholders in the road and transport sector aimed at discussing pedestrian safety across the country. In an exclusive interview, ZRST Communications advisor Milo Simwale says most roads infrastructure in most parts of the country are damaged, while most road markings such as pedestrian crossings are faded, putting citizens in danger when crossing. Mr. Mwale adds that while there has been emphasis on developing roads that connect cities and towns to ensure that they are of high standard and have the necessary signage and markings, local roads should not be neglected if lives are to be safeguarded. More in this report.
This near accident is an example of what everyday life in Lusaka and many other parts of the country is for pedestrians who are trying to cross busy roads. The woman narrowly escaped death after being hit by a fast-moving vehicle as she was crossing the road from Kamala Market near the Kafue roundabout, falling to the road before being picked up by onlookers who almost lynched the driver and demanded that he takes her to the hospital. The Zambia Road Safety Trust has blamed the prevailing situation in most parts of the country on poor road signage, such as faded pedestrian crossings and lack of proper road signage and speed deterrents, hence endangering the lives of pedestrians. Zambia Road Safety Trust Communications Advisor Milos Mwale was speaking to Camnet News.
So our appeal is we are calling upon all stakeholders that as ZRIST we have some solutions. So we are appealing to them to work closely with us. We invite all engineers in this country that whatever was built before, I think there is need to revisit some of the intervention. And one of them is if we need to put barriers, continuous barriers up to the end of Independence Avenue, let it be so, because that is the only solution, because people are not using the underpass. So what do we do with the people crossing on top there? So there's a solution. If we work together, we can come up with some amicable solution to prevent pedestrian death.
He has therefore called for an endeavor to discuss how Zambian roads can be made safer for pedestrians.
We do have flyover bridges there. Okay, but what is worrying, why most pedestrians don't use those flyover bridges is because the way they were designed. It's like the priority to cross has been given to motorists because they are being avoided by pedestrians because pedestrians take too much time to cross. Okay, take too much cross. A pedestrian can take, like for example, the flyover bridge, a pedestrian bridge which is at downtown. A pedestrian can take 10 minutes to cross from one end to another because of the design. Okay, so it means the respect was given to motorists who just have to spend. Who can spend like a minute to wait for pedestrian to cross down there than complicating pedestrian to be crossing. So there are a lot of engineering issues that really need to be looked at. That's why it's been deserted.
Mr. Mwale adds that once proper road signage and markings are put up on all roads, there is need to increase penalties for motorists who will abrogate the law. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
United Party for National Development, UPND National Youth Chairman Gilbert LISWANISO has underscored the need for concerted efforts in eradicating unique challenges being faced by the young people nationwide. Speaking at a mental health symposium in Lusaka Saturday, Mr. LISWANISO says there is need for collaborative efforts in providing education to the public on mental health, as well as advocate for a policy direction that will compel more funding towards mental health. He has since called on the young people to refrain from activities that derail their capacity to contribute meaningfully to national development by seeking help if need be. And the Lusaka-based psychologist Pelekelo Muya has called for more financing towards mental health as a means of ensuring the most affected contribute effectively to national development. More in this report.
Zambia's mental health state has increasingly been a source of concern for many stakeholders whose prevalence rate is at 20% of the health-related issues. Among the mental health challenges common in Zambia include psychotic episode, schizophrenia, affective disorder, and alcohol-related problems. These may be attributed to societal problems such as substance abuse, especially among the young people. In Zambia generally, health financing is a challenge worse off the mental health sector, which is said to receive a mega share of the national health budget. Stakeholders have in this regard taken it up to ensure steady eradication of the problem through mental health awareness programs. Pelekelo Muya is a psychologist who has convened youths, medical health practitioners, and other members of the academia to ensure a lasting solution is found on mental health problems.
What we hope to achieve is that we want to see a community that is free of drug abuse. As you know, these are issues that we are talking about. We have seen a rise in the number of people that are tagged as junkies, and we have not really taken time to investigate as into why we are having a rise in such numbers. So we hope to put our minds together and look at solutions and see how we can go out there in the communities and get to sensitize our fellow youths and how they can remain in their mental sanity.
Meanwhile, National Arts Council Assistant Director Mwiche Chikungu says government is cognizant of the challenges and is working with different groups in the arts sector to sensitize the public on mental health.
More services in areas of mental health in order to stem the tide of persons that are afflicted with problems that emanate from their state of mind. There are a range of facilities both in the private and public health system that are designed to provide help to the youth and youth artists. It cannot be said that the time of your youth is the most productive. However, without a robust mental health support system, there will be a slowdown in productivity.
In speaking at the same meeting, United Party for National Development, UPND Youth National Chairman Gilbert LISWANISO has called for concerted effort in curbing related mental health challenges, especially among the young people.
Efforts to address mental health challenges will not only enhance individual lives but also contribute to the overall development of our communities and the prosperity of our nation. It is imperative to acknowledge the unique challenges faced by young people when it comes to mental health. Our youth, our future leaders, grapple with many pressures, especially there's pressure a lot to ask the young people in our communities. It is our duty to create an environment where they can openly discuss the mental health concerns without fear or judgment or stigma. By doing so, we can empower individuals, families, communities to access the care they need. Education and awareness play a vital role in breaking down the barriers surrounding mental health. We must invest in mental health literature programs that reach all our societies. By promoting knowledge and understanding, we can combat the prevailing misconception and eradicate the stigma associated with mental health.
Prudence Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Munali Member of Parliament Mike Mposha has urged contractors implementing the Constituency Development Fund projects in his constituency to expedite the completion of the projects. The minister, who spoke when he toured the projects Saturday, says government has made money available and that there is no need to delay the completion of the projects. The lawmaker says if any contractor is faced with any challenge, they should urgently communicate with the Ward Development Committee to ensure that the issues are resolved in the soonest possible time. And Mr. Mposha says the Zambia National Service has been contracted to construct roads in his constituency at a cost of 6.3 million kwacha from the 2023 CDF. More in this report.
Munali Member of Parliament Mike Mposha was Saturday in his constituency to check on some of the projects being implemented using the 2022 Constituency Development Funds. Here, the Member of Parliament started first by checking on the progress being made in rolling out the construction of pedestral toilets in Kaunda Square Stage 1 as opposed to the squatting toilets which have been contributing to blockages of some sewer pipes, thereby causing flooding of sewer in the area, which has been contributing to the outbreak of waterborne diseases in Kaunda Square Stage 1.
Shower and it's a toilet for this house, so meaning if there are 8-10 people in here, because on average in Kaunda Square, a house like this takes care of not less than 10 people. So all of them using one shower here and one toilet. So if someone is bathing here, you can't use the toilet, you're locked out. So what the MD was saying is that we're trying to encourage people. We put the new toilets there, but also to encourage people to have a separate shower there.
The Monali Member of Parliament also took time to inspect works being done at Kripsi Clinic and Mtendere East Clinic, a project which was first started in 2020 but stalled due to some reasons. The minister has since appealed to the contractors to ensure they expedite the process of completing the clinics, which he says will save a number of people who have been facing challenges in accessing health facilities.
So once this project is completed, it will be able to service a lot of people around here, the whole Mtendere East. So we're very keen as leaders in the community, we're very keen as the residents of Monali, in particular this area, Mtendere East, to see to it that this project is completed.
Mr. Mposha has also inspected roadworks being done in several wards by the Zambia National Service at a cost of 6.3 million kwacha from the 2022 Constituency Development Fund. Here, the minister has appealed to the service to ensure that drainages are also prioritized in order for water not to damage the roads during the rain season.
It will help us to decongest that point. So we can have this one going this way, connecting into IPEX and also that one. But let's do the drainages properly, because you can see there will be a lot of water coming here. If it's allowed to pass on the road, then it will damage. We want to assure our people that these roads are durable. In certain areas where we were working during the rain season, if you went there, the roads are intact. What we are merely doing now in certain portions is to put some culverts and also to improve the drainage, so that once we improve the drainages, then that in itself will assure our people that, we ensure that the roads are durable. So we've done very well so far, and these roads that I'm talking about are very, very key in terms of interconnectivity.
The Monali Member of Parliament is so far happy with the progress being made on most projects being implemented under CDF, and is optimistic that more projects will commence in 2023 now that resources have been made available by the government. Puris Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Mbabala constituency Member of Parliament Joseph Musanje says his constituency has witnessed unprecedented numbers of youths applying for skills, training and bursaries under the Constituency Development Fund CDF in 2023. Speaking to Camnet News, the Member of Parliament says this could be a direct result of increased sensitization in the constituency, coupled with testimonies from those who benefited in 2022. He has therefore urged those interested not to listen to negative stories from any naysayers, stating that any Zambian citizen who qualifies can benefit from the initiative.
The bursaries applications for secondary schools, we have over 400 applications, to which most of them have been approved, up from 247 last year. Similarly, for skills, we have another 400 plus applications, up from 170 last year. And then in women's clubs, we had about 150 applications, up from around 70 from last year, and we have given over 120. So the increase in the recipients for all the programs, bursaries, secondary school bursaries, skills, women and youth empowerment fund is huge. We have a huge increase. And then we also inspected the house which we are building at Manguza Clinic. We inspected the Manguza Kachenje Bridge, which we are pushing for RDA to fix that bridge. We also inspected the Meander Bridge, which we are pushing for RDA also to fix the Meander Bridge. And we also inspected several roads to ensure that hopefully we can do light grading for them to be passable and to open up new roads.
The Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development says local authorities must work hard to eliminate the narrative that councils have no capacity to effectively administer the huge resources given to them to undertake massive projects. Decentralization Support Program ZDSP Financial Management Specialist Kennedy Kazinga says individual officers in local authorities have the responsibility to prove that they have the capacity to execute the devolved functions effectively and successfully. Speaking when he officially opened the ZDSP workshop in Kazungula Friday, Mr. Kazinga said the workshop is aimed at resetting the work culture among local authorities for the betterment of the people. He has emphasized the importance of a strong local authority in the development of the country.
And which is superintended by a council. So that's how important they are. They are an anchor delivery unit for any government across the globe. For us in Zambia, this is an anchor to central government. And this is more reason, looking at what the government has approved now, of devolving certain functions such as district hospitals, veterinary extension services, social welfare issues. So we can say that that in turn is giving the responsibility to determine the destiny of the localities to the citizens themselves in their localities and exploit the opportunities, especially the local economic endowment, which vary from one district to another.
You're watching Camnet Television and not just another channel. Join us for more news after the break.
In our quest to serve nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Hello, this is Camnet Television News. We continue with the news. Leadership Movement Party Secretary General Jairo Singoma says the party expects that President Hakainde Hichilema would have by now made his assets public as one way of proving that his administration is serious with the corruption fight. Addressing the media Saturday, Mr. Ngoma has also challenged government to ensure that there is a periodic release of cases involving political figures who are being tried for corruption and those that have been convicted so far. He says this is so that citizens can make an assessment on how the current administration is progressing on its anti-corruption crusade. Meanwhile, Leadership Movement Party Information and Publicity Secretary Jason Mwanza who was speaking at the same event, has advised government to channel most of its energy towards bettering the lives of Zambians and not on getting back on officials from the former ruling Patriotic Front unless there is concrete evidence. More in this report.
The recent discovery that former First Lady under the Patriotic Front administration, Esther Lungu, gave 400,000 United States dollars, equivalent to about 7 million kwacha, to former President Edgar Lungu's niece, who is a cleaner at Cabinet Office for Safekeeping, has brought a lot of talk, with some stakeholders on the political scene calling for investigations as to how the money was attained. The opposition leadership movement party has joined those calling for investigations, further stating that anyone agreeing to keep such amounts of money whose source may be questionable should also be prosecuted, to send a strong message to others who may want to agree to such arrangements. Addressing the media Saturday, Party Secretary General Jairus Ngoma says President Hakainde Hichilema should also heed calls for him to make a public declaration of his assets as a sign that the current administration is serious in its fight against corruption.
This drama where they find anything, they are quick, but tifuna malizausi zi nalero pano. So the new deck who has been put there now would want him to walk the talk. We don't want this drama where people are using, no, I found this law, it's a colonial law, it protects. You work according to what you are supposed to do. A criminal is a criminal, not where you use words, where you want to justify the poor and ofutikiratu mkombo ni sub kokola, ni one time weve mavalonga. But you with money, no, he was saved outside court according to the rules. It's not supposed to be like that. Therefore, we are dismissing. So we want fairness. This is another comedy because we have a track record where we're supposed to be taught. Where are the previously conviction?
Other officials in the political party also aired their voice at the same event.
So all as Zambians, we have something to contribute to this great nation. So what we want now is a light mindset to govern our country. Enough is enough. For how long are we going to be admiring China, Singapore, Russia? For how long? It doesn't make sense. We as a party leadership movement, we are ready to govern this country. Dr. Richard Sirumbe is very much ready. We are not going to be giving excuses when we come into office come 2026. Our agenda will be to liberate Zambia from this economic crisis it is in today to a country where every Zambian will be proud of. These are our agenda as a party, and this is what we want to achieve for the better Zambia for everyone.
We had an issue where a family issue of the former First Lady, took headlines in this country. And these political jokers utilized that, to divert the attention of the Zambian people from real issues. We want to bring back the attention of the Zambian people to pertinent issues. Issues such as the promises that the New Dawn government made. We want them to come. We want to hold them accountable for the promises that they made to the Zambian people. We need employment for our young people. We need low prices for commodities on the market. We need to arrest the cost of living in this country.
They have further called on the ruling administration to take keen interest in what opposition political parties are saying, stating that not everyone aims at making unnecessary criticism. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Minister of Labour and Social Security Brenda Tambatamba has urged companies to ensure they prioritize the welfare of employees at their workplace to ensure there is a win-win situation. Speaking when she interacted with management at Japan Tobacco International Company in Eastern Province, Mrs. Tambatamba says there is need to also maximize any injuries to the environment even as companies make profit out of their investments. She says social corporate responsibility should also be at the center of investment, adding that the environment in which businesses operate needs to also benefit from the investments.
We have a business here, a model business here, that neither harms humans nor the environment, because our planet is crying. So that point is very, very important, and it's a message that goes out to industry everywhere, especially those that have appreciated and understand what it means to have structures such as the ones you have. You have got an EHS person in there. How can we ensure that we minimize the injury as we are optimizing on value back, money back, whatever that goes back to the investor, to the workers, and to the community? What are we doing to the environment? What technologies can begin to chime in? We know as a company that has roots in Japan, there's much that has happened there in terms of knowledge transfer. We would be saying this should be the learning center.
A joint team of officers from the Department of Immigration and other security wings on the 5th of May 2023 apprehended a 26-year-old Zambian of Kapiri, identified as Kigan Chiyishila, and 11 suspected Ethiopian illegal immigrants. Immigration Public Relations Officer Namati Nshinka says authorities found the group in the house where police on 23rd April 2023 found a Zambian and 27 Ethiopians following a tip-off from members of the public. Mr. Nshinka says the joint team swung into action after investigations into the earlier incident led them to the same house. He says the Zambian is detained at Kabwe Central Police, while 11 suspected Ethiopians are at Mukobeko Medium Correctional Facility, while investigations into the matter are ongoing. Meanwhile, the Mumbwa Immigration Office on the 5th of May 2023 charged a 36-year-old French national with the offense of unlawful stay, altering a passport, and doing business without an immigration permit.
A joint team of officers from the Department of Immigration and other security wings on 5th May 2023 apprehended a 26-year-old Zambian of Kapirimposhi, Kigan Chiyishila, and 11 suspected Ethiopian illegal immigrants. The Department of Immigration-led joint team found the group in the house where police on 23rd April 2023 found a Zambian and 27 Ethiopians following a tip-off from members of the public. The joint team swung into action after investigations into the earlier incident led them to the same house. A search of the house resulted in the apprehension of Kigan Chiyishila and the 11 suspected Ethiopian illegal immigrants. The Zambian is detained at Kabwe Central Police, while the 11 suspected Ethiopians are at Mukobeko Medium Correctional Facility. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. Meanwhile, the Mumbai Immigration Office on 5th May 2023 charged a 36-year-old French national with offences of unlawful stay, altering a passport, and doing business without an immigration permit. C. Mamadou was arrested on 4th May 2023 at his restaurant in Mumbai town. Immigration officers also discovered unauthorized endorsements in his French passport, purporting that the department had extended his stay in the country when not. He is detained at Mumbai Correctional Facility and will appear in court soon. The department wishes to warn foreign nationals against abrogating the provisions of the Immigration and Deportation Act. We will not hesitate to arrest anyone found wanting.
This is Camnet Television Main News. We'll take a break. Join us for international and sports news after the break.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. In our international news tonight, King Charles III and his wife Camilla have been crowned at a lavish Westminster Abbey ceremony on a dreary, rainy day in London as thousands line the streets in the capital. The head of the United Kingdom's main Republican group and other anti-monarchist activists were arrested at a coronation protest in London hours before the historic event. Meanwhile, Zambia's leader Hakainde Hichilema is among thousands of people who have attended the coronation at the invite of King Charles. In other international stories, Serbia's president has announced new gun control measures after 2 mass shootings this week. He has also announced that 1,200 new police officers will be deployed to increase security at schools. Here's a roundup for more international news.
Abbey in London. He's now making his way back to Buckingham Palace. Well, every coronation is meant to reflect the time in which it takes place, from the words used in the service, the people that have been invited, to, of course, what we see, and, of course, the person who is being crowned. Every detail of the service, and today, has been long thought over by the King and the Palace. We'll dive into the details of the service and what sort of King Charles may be in just a moment, but we're going to go to Jonah Hull, who is standing by for us outside Buckingham Palace. And Jonah, is the crowd there, obviously with the King and the Queen about to make their way towards you?
Buckingham Palace will now be in view of the King and Queen, and they will complete the final lap, the entirety of the Mall now full of that procession, making for what will be some extraordinary aerial photography later. And in perhaps 15 or so minutes, they're going at walking pace, these bands beating out a pace of 108 steps a minute. That is about walking pace. It's as fast as that ancient gold coach can go. In about 15 minutes, they will enter Buckingham Palace, and they will enter to a royal salute of several thousand armed service personnel gathered in the palace gardens. And then the royal family, behind the coach there, the Prince and Princess of Wales and their children, will have some time off inside Buckingham Palace before they appear. I'll step aside and just show, where is it? There it is, today. And it rather looks as though the crowds are clearing enough for a royal fly past as well.
Of course. Obviously, for the tens and tens of thousands of people, the majority of them that have turned up and braved the weather over the last few hours, this will be a momentous day. But I'm just wondering, has this been a contentious coronation, or has it united the United Kingdom, do you think?
So, Hale, I'm struggling, frankly, to hear what you're saying. Will you have another go at that?
Of course. Has this been a contentious coronation, or has this united the United Kingdom, do you think?
The way it is conducted, the response of the crowds in unpleasant weather situation here in London. We've been terribly unlucky in our last 2 coronations before this even. And Elizabeth II was even more pouring rain than this one has been. And you would think that that dampens enthusiasm, but certainly amongst those watching it clearly doesn't. Now, perhaps they are not representative of the country as a whole, but I don't think this country is done with monarchy yet. And if it is to survive, it has to tread this awkward tightrope between having these kind of ceremonies and doing them superbly and making people feel that they are part of something memorable and special, because, you know, people who have lined the routes today will remember this, and perhaps it sounds slightly corny, but they will tell their grandchildren.
Forensic police at the scene of the second mass shooting in Serbia in 2 days, this time in the town of Dubona, south of Belgrade. Witnesses recall the moment the attack happened.
I could hear people running. I'm not sure how many people were running away, but I saw many youngsters.
I looked out of the window, but I didn't go out. Suddenly, I saw people carrying the wounded.
It happened at a football pitch. Armed with an assault rifle and handgun, the shooter opened fire from a moving car, killing and injuring several people. After a manhunt that lasted several hours, police arrested the suspect on Friday morning. Many people are trying to process the loss of people they know.
I am shocked. My daughter is taking sedatives. We couldn't sleep all night. They grew up together, from preschool to primary, and then secondary school.
On Wednesday, a teenager shot dead several children and a security guard at a school in Belgrade. Police say the 13-year-old used his father's gun and had planned the attack for a month. Hundreds of people took part in a vigil at the school in honor of the victims.
This is a tragedy for the whole nation. It's not only a tragedy for the families. This affects our whole society.
President Alexander Vučić has declared 3 days of national mourning and promised to toughen gun control laws.
We will conduct a complete disarmament of Serbia. Penalties for owning an illegal weapon will be much more severe, almost double.
Mass shootings are rare in Serbia. The last occurred in 2013 when a war veteran killed 13 people. One of the biggest questions police are trying to answer is what prompted 2 young men to carry out these violent attacks and why now?
It's now time for sports news. Power Dynamos have become the 2022-2023 champions after defeating Forest Rangers 2-0 in a Week 22 league game at Dollar Hill Stadium. The new champions have won with 62 points and are certain to win the championship with 2 games to go. The team which lost the championship in 2011 will finish the season with 16 victories, which might possibly increase to 18 if they win their final 2 games. Power Dynamos will then represent Zambia in the CAF Champions League, while the second spot, which will feature a club representing Zambia in the CAF Confederations Cup, is still available to almost 10 teams. For now, it appears the CAF Confederation spot will be determined on the final day of the league. That sporting note brings us to the end of the news. Before we go, the top stories once again. The Drug Enforcement Commission DEC arrests 2 Zambians for trafficking in cocaine. Energy expert challenges ZESCO to state its position on the Smart House application. UPND National Youth Chairman Gilbert LISWANISO wants solutions to mental health challenges. In international news, UK's King Charles III and Camilla crowned in coronation ceremony. And in sports news, Power Dynamos are the Super League champions. Our comment verse of the day is coming from Ephesians 5 verse 21 to 20. Speak to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, offering praise by singing and making melody with your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father for all things in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Siambo. Bye-bye.